Alright, we're here to talk about a crippling issue in our society today, brand accounts. And what I mean by that are these brands that you probably know about, because most of the brands that are on the timeline wilding are, just commonplace names. It's like Wendy's, or Pop-Tarts, or insert other restaurant, food product. Generally, it's a food product from what I've noticed here, right? Now, it's really an issue, because it was funny when it first was happening, when this transition really went down, but now that it's gotten to just be commonplace, the meme is dead, and the problem is that these brand accounts don't understand that. So, those of you who understand anything about a joke, you realize that once the joke has been played out about 8,000 fucking times, the joke isn't really that funny anymore, unless it's like a George Carlin bit, or a Bill Burr bit. I can watch that shit daily forever. But when it comes down to some fast food restaurant that makes subpar quality food on Twitter roasting people with 9 followers, generally that just, it's not funny anymore after about the 800th time of you doing it. So, when did this all really start, okay? So, this was never really a commonplace thing up until maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago, sometime like that. A bunch of Wendy's tweets really is what kicked this whole thing off, started going viral, because there was people tweeting probably some stupid things at the Wendy's account, and they probably had some young, hip, cool cat sitting back there behind the keyboard shitting on people through the Wendy's account. And a couple of these tweets started going viral, and people were making videos about these tweets. People were going, oh my god, Wendy's is savage? No, Wendy's is not savage. Wendy's is a burger chain that sells decent food. I'll give them that. At least they're selling a decent product in most restaurants. That doesn't excuse a lot of this behavior from others, okay? So, they kind of birthed this whole trend, okay? Because they had hundreds of people going, oh my god, Wendy's just completely destroyed this random customer of theirs who had 8 followers. Let me now hop on this trend, and let me start doing the same thing to my followers in the hopes that it will encourage 3 more people on Twitter to buy a burger today. So like I said, most of us understand that once a joke has been played out too many times, it becomes less funny. Well, the thing is that these brand accounts don't understand that, and here is my hypothesis on why this is. So these brand accounts are generally, I would say, ran by people who are probably under 35 years of age. However, their bosses, the people who determine market strategies and things like that, they're probably as old as my fucking grandparents. They're probably 75, 80, something like that, some old rich white guy in a tuxedo, if we're gonna get stereotypical here, but it's probably true. And what they do is they see, well, I saw a lot of these youngsters and these tweeter users, and they were going stupid because Wendy's sold 3 more hamburgers because this guy named John tweeted him and asked if he should go to McDonald's, and they were like, no, don't go to McDonald's. If you're in a McDonald's, look for the nearest exit. And oh my god, they got flamed, man. Someone turn on the fan. It's getting hot in here. So then they go to their youngsters that they have, and they go, hey, do you know about this tweeter? And they're like, well, yeah, I know about Twitter. He's like, do you think you could do the roasting? He's like, I'll pay you $14 an hour. And he's like, oh, yes. What? Yeah, I'll take that. Next thing you know, this dude's grandson is burning people from the Dove Lotion account. Doesn't make much sense, but yeah. So a lot of people failed to even understand the joke in the first place. The joke is that one would not traditionally expect for a brand that is attempting to sway consumers onto their product to so savagely destroy them with insults, roasts, and deteriorations in their own personalities due to these just ridiculous flames on Twitter. You would never expect for a brand to do that, because that just is potentially turning off customers. And in reality, it was definitely risky at first. It's definitely risky to tear apart somebody who is, asking you a question about your food so savagely when it hasn't become commonplace yet. And that's why I respect Wendy's for doing it. And that's because they were the ones who changed the game on this whole thing. They were pretty much the first. They took a risk and it worked out for them. I can respect that. What I don't respect is every other company hopping on that bandwagon and just completely and savagely destroying their consumers over medial shit on Twitter. And it's not even just roasting. It's gotten to the point where it's just ignorance being spewed on the timeline. Like, I know I'm not really one to talk about ignorance on the timeline. Yesterday, I quite literally tweeted, I'm ja vibin' in the Ritz car. I think I just destroyed an iPhone XR screen. Hold on. Never mind. No, I didn't, thankfully. But I'm not really one to just be out here like, what you say on Twitter is ignorant, right? I shouldn't be saying that, but I'm going to. I'm going to play this card for this instance here. It's gotten past the roasting and has gotten to the point of just general shit being tweeted out. So, Pop-Tarts is a very popular example of a company that has gotten savvy to social media in the way that they're now tweeting some ignorant shit. So, this is one of them. So, on March 15th, Pop-Tarts decided to tweet a GIF of a guy shirtless eating a Pop-Tart with the caption, "This is getting me so hot right now." Pop-Tarts, you do realize that like 70% of your consumer base is like first grade children in the morning, right? This is not your consumer base. Naturally, Twitter reacted quite well to this post, and this one was well deserved. This is 100% in compliance with the ignorant standards right here, so this is becoming commonplace. Unfortunately, this is how brand accounts are out here wilding on the timeline. And of course, they're not the only example, man. If I sat down and really went through all of the examples of these different accounts with savvy responses and just stupid shit. However, there are still some accounts that I would say do it in a respectful manner and are doing it to a point that I think it actually is beneficial and they're not just being losers who are copying others. One would be MoonPie. I have never had a moon pie in my life. I will be 100% honest with you, but I respect Moon Pie for doing what you're doing. So you're like, okay, get to the fucking point, man. All right, so here's my point, and I think this is a consensus that is shared with a lot of other people. You acting savage on Twitter is not more likely to make me go buy your product, okay? You acting like a fucking idiot on Twitter is not more likely to make me go and just get something from you. The only examples in which on Twitter you act like a fool, you wild out, and I'm more likely to buy your product. I will give you some notable examples. The Mob. The Mob is really the only people besides like, Joven, Nick, Optic D-Paint. Those are pretty much the only people on Twitter besides like Kanye West who I'm more likely to support just based off of the shit that they say. Just because Little Debbie gets on Twitter and completely destroys somebody doesn't mean I'm going to be like, well, time to get in my car and go buy as many Little Debbie products as I can. And for those of you who somehow can't comprehend this, I'm going to go ahead and give you a very good example, okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at the Chick-fil-A. The Chick-fil-A Twitter. Okay, let's see what they've got to say. Okay, so most of it is just them advertising their products. It looks pretty delicious. Some good old waffle fries, kind of want some waffle fries. Oh wow, a chicken sandwich. That would slap right now. Congratulating a viral video of a new employee. That's a very nice thing to do. Their Twitter is filled with photos of their loving employees, their great quality products, and what they plan to keep providing as a company, okay? Now, you might know that recently they've gotten themselves in a little bit of shit, once again, because they keep donating to anti-LGBTQ organizations and stuff like that. Now, I didn't read too much into it. I did see the headlines and stuff. They're in some deep doggy doo-doo once again because of this. But here's the difference, okay? I will continue to keep eating at Chick-fil-A. I don't agree with their politics. I don't agree with them not supporting gay rights and whatever, right? But I'm still going to continue to eat their food because it is very high quality food, at least for fast food. It's not like, a sit-in restaurant like Texas Roadhouse or something like that. But I'm going to continue to go out of my way to go to Chick-fil-A because when I would like a quick meal, they're there. And when it comes down to a quick meal, they're providing a quality product. Do you see how their Twitter not being full of 17-year-olds' responses to very stupid questions on the internet or memes doesn't have any reaction to me? Isn't that insane? How I don't have to have that in order for me to go and purchase your product? That's just insane, right? At the end of the day, when it comes down to me buying your product, you can say whatever you'd like on Twitter, on Facebook, on Snapchat. I don't care. You can say or do whatever you want. If you're providing me a quality product, I'm going to continue to do business with your company. Wendy's is another good example of that. Wendy's, they have a lot more local locations. I usually have to drive like 20 minutes to go to Chick-fil-A where I live. However, I can go like 7 minutes to Wendy's, okay? And they generally have pretty decent food. I will go to a Wendy's regardless of what they say on Twitter because they generally provide me with a quality product. Just like I will not go to McDonald's because unfortunately, most of the time, their food is complete dog shit, and I refuse to put it into my body. Their social media presence has nothing to do with it. To anybody who actually relies on social media responses to 7-year-olds trying to get a rise out of them, if that's what you're actually using to determine your willingness to eat at a specific place or shop with a specific brand, you are literally the lowest tier of consumer ever made. Because you have shown that you would actually eat rat poison if they're marketing on Twitter with "you fucking are a moron because we are the best rat poison and any other rat poison brand can go to hell." If that's something that actually makes it to where you're like, well, I have to buy this rat poison brand, that just shows. And what that shows is something very low quality about yourself. So, I respect the hustle. I understand that these companies are trying to do whatever they can to get more consumers inside of their doors. However, I think it's been proven time and time again that if you just have a good quality product, enough marketing that it's recognizable, decent pricing, as in I don't have to pay $7 for a glass of your fucking soda, general availability, as in there's thousands of locations throughout a specific area that you operate within, or of course if you're more localized, maybe a few dozen. Quality customer experience. Those 5 things. When you go inside of a restaurant, it's clean, the staff don't treat you like ass, you don't die from eating a food poisoned potato or something in this restaurant. I think those 5 things are quite critical and key to the success of any business, really. Your Twitter tweets, let's just call it your tweets, okay, towards 13-year-olds online who just wanted attention and wanted to be made fun of by their favorite fast food restaurant does not affect the quality of your food. Just because you burned some kid on Twitter doesn't mean that your hamburger still doesn't taste like dog shit. Your customer experience doesn't get better in a restaurant because of the savage tweets, or in any location really. In fact, you could argue that the customer experience with a brand could get worse, because I'm sure that there's been legitimate questions asked by brands that have been unnecessarily responded to in a very negative, tone and rhetoric. That, I would think, would make the customer experience a lot worse. You shitting on people on Twitter doesn't make your product more recognizable most of the time, unless you get a very viral tweet that maybe gets hundreds of thousands, if not millions of retweets and likes. You're bound to find a few new customers in there, but with a company like Wendy's, which is pretty much universally known as one of the biggest hamburger chains on the planet, it's not really doing much for you. It's not boosting the general availability of your product. Just because you're burning somebody on social media doesn't mean that you've opened 3 new restaurants in a new market in some country that has high demand for your product. We don't even have to go through all 5. We just went through 4 of them right there, and it doesn't match anything. And I mean anything. So why are these companies still doing it? Is it just to boost their social media numbers? Because for most consumers with any sort of brain in their head, I don't think that your company having 2 million followers on Twitter is going to influence whether or not they eat your specific food. So can we go back to marketing like regular people? Can we go back to the actual showing a good product, showing the availability, showing the price, showing why I should have your product, instead of this stupid bullshit that has been put on social media? The joke is no longer funny. For 95% of the companies trying to run the joke, it is not boosting their sales. It isn't making consumers more likely to go anywhere. I hate to tell you this, but it should be sad that some guy on YouTube understands more about marketing than some of these companies' marketing directors do. With that being said, thank you for watching the video. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel. Follow me over on Twitter at @SubToptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. Join the Discord down below. Lots of great things going on down there. Thank you to my channel members for your $5 a month. Your support helps my channel tremendously. If you'd like to become one, you can do so by hitting the join button down below or hitting the become a channel member link down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus getting bullied by food brands on social media and signing out.